Lately, I've become fascinated with the idea of the minutia in life, the small conversations, the moments that point to bigger things. That will be the focus of this documentary. Today it is November 19th of 2020, and they just put the second ban of sorts for night travel for the year because of the COVID-19 pandemic. That is certainly not a small story, but that points to much bigger things, potentially extremely bad, worse than they've been. But I want to focus on more positive things, maybe because of that. So that's a reason right there why that detail, small detail, is important right now. My kids painted my fingernails and my toenails several days ago, and I can still see them already at the beginning and the end of the day. Makes me think of them. That's really nice. I was recently approached about someone who is interested in getting the individual's hands on a copy of one of my books that has been out of print for a while, which that really is a very positive thing, because for the last several years I have been just about ready to give up on my writing career. I've written and published so many books. Perhaps it's one of the reasons why I've been turning to filmmaking lately. Outside of the fact that's just another thing I've always wanted to do, like writing. So that was a very nice, positive experience. Let's see what else. My change engine oil message has been on in my car for several days, and with having to get ready for Christmas and such, it's not very feasible right now. And with my long hour drive to work and back 6 days a week, that's kind of stressful. Anyone who knows me at all knows that driving in general, it could be a clear day, let alone the winter, which is coming up since it's getting towards the end of November, makes me nervous. That was the basis of my film, The Man Who Fears the Rain, that fear. So that small little tidbit about the engine oil message definitely points to a larger picture. Therefore, it's perfect for this documentary. I'm also starting to wonder if, when I put this documentary together, if I could just get away with a title card for the 5 to 10 minute running time, which is what I have in mind. And fellow creative-minded individuals will know that it could end up being something else. I've wanted to do a feature, whether it's a documentary or a narrative feature, for quite some time, but just the right idea hasn't come, and I'm worried about the amount of storage space I have. So that definitely points to, they're little ideas that point to bigger pictures. We'll see what we do with that. Along the same lines is the idea that I've been using a lot of repeated images in my last few works, my short films, and I've always wanted to do a music video, which I just did. I'm working on an acoustic album. Don't know if that will see the light of the day, but the tentative title for that is A Soundtrack for Movies Unmade, which the idea for this is each song is different. I have one called The Terror, which I like because it's right out of a horror movie. Kind of has like a Psycho Bernard Herrmann-esque feel that I really like, that I did on the guitar. But have each song just have different variety, different mood, like one kind of comedic or one, I don't know, romantic to go along with the horror movie-esque, the terror track. I think that would be a cool idea. Who knows? This is part of the creative process I'm also demonstrating here, so who knows if any of these ideas will see the light of day, but that's definitely a small story that points to a much larger picture. So I thought it was worth incorporating in this project. The idea of repetition, especially in a job setting or in my own artistic work, has really been bothering me lately. I know earlier I said I'd try to stay upbeat. We see how long that lasted. Again, that's part of the creative process, so we're going with it. Which definitely points to another larger picture, even if I don't know exactly where or why it's springing to mind at this time. While we're addressing the idea of the creative process and repetition, I feel like I have been using the idea of the creative process as a ruse too often in my latest short films, and I know that's a big pinpoint of this. I don't know at what point I could move beyond it, but it's definitely a small story. I'm starting to wonder now if this is how all artistic minds work, where we're both the artist and the audience and the critic, which I know I've put into my work beforehand. When I was talking about the title card earlier, I meant just that for like 10 minutes with the voice in the background. Again, another idea I've used. I would like to look beyond that. I'm just trying to do things as economically and efficiently as possible right now. I certainly don't think it'll work for a future, but again, bringing that idea forth, I've thought of how to do it without it becoming too repetitious. Like I did with my short film, A Serene Scene, an experimental feature, I took the one short and ran it over and over as an act of repetition until I had an 80-minute runtime for a feature. Maybe if I could find another idea similar to that wasn't a complete replication. But again, the creative process, I'm sure after a while all artists come to this idea. So again, these are all small stories that point to larger stories in my life and our lives collectively. Even just mentioning these things right now feels like repetition. Maybe this film will help me break out of that cycle. I've also been thinking of the idea of like a rap album that tells a story through every one of its tracks. Every track is like a chapter. I know that's been done, but the idea is like a sci-fi fantasy, since the idea of rap is, quote unquote, keeping it real. What if we did the complete opposite and made it into a science fiction story? To my knowledge, that hasn't been done. We'll see. It's another little idea I'd like to pursue somewhere along the line, especially with me finally pursuing my musical career I've been wanting to do since I was a young kid of about middle to high school age. And who knows if this is another idea that will see the light of day. Another small story I have is that one thing I found recently to help before I go to work, to help me have a sense of fulfillment and accomplishment, is playing the guitar. Just not even writing music, just hitting notes and trying to find something that sounds good and recording it. That's where I've made my last couple albums. That's why I really like the idea of improvisation, which I'm doing here. This isn't scripted, and I've done that with a lot of my short films. believe it's pivotal to create something every moment to give you that sense of accomplishment. That's probably how I've become an artist with such a variety to my work, not to sound full of myself, but just every day. I know a lot of artists say that if you want to do something, you got to do it every day. You got to create. For me, I do that out of need and necessity. So I guess that's the thesis statement of this work on the minutia of life and what has become an album, which is the soundtrack for movies unmade, is that create every day, celebrate your art. It may not seem like it at the time, but you are going somewhere. It will amount to something. It may be way in the future, it may be immediate, as it is for some, but just keep at it. That's the thesis statement. That's what I've arrived to with all this.